Hey y'all, it's Candace from Little Steps Big Happy. I blog about health and fitness tips for moms. Um, Today, I wanted to talk all about our mental health. Um, Mental health is really kind of the backbone of your physical health. You know, if you're stressing a lot, you're going to be overeating. If you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, you're not going to want to go exercise. And although those things can help you feel better mentally, a lot of times we have to address the mental side before we can kind of get to the physical side. So today I thought I would share some tips and some advice and some of the things that I've learned that I am trying to implement right now through all this craziness, and hopefully it can help y'all too. So the first thing I wanted to go over is that you really need to take care of your mental health. You need to prioritize doing the things that are going to help you feel better right now. I know that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of worry. And your mind is kind of maybe in panic mode a little bit, like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to take care of X, Y, and Z. But one of the things I think you really need to put at the top of that list is to take care of your mental health. We don't know how long all this is going to last, y'all. You don't want to be stuck in survival mode for weeks, months. You know what I mean? Like, the wear and tear of that on you is legitimate. And so I really want you to kind of make sure that each day you find something that makes you happy, makes you smile, makes you grateful. Find something that makes you feel peaceful. I mean, you ain't got to pick all of those one day, but find something good each day and make a point to find something good each day. The better place you are in mentally, and the calmer you are, less stressed you are, really the better decisions you're going to make right now. You know what I mean? That's something to think about, is taking care of your mental health is going to help you deal with all of this. Not just by feeling better, but making better decisions. So it's important. You can't just leave it at the bottom of the list and think, I'll deal with this when everything's over. Like, you need to deal with this, if not first and foremost, along the way at the very least. So that's my first tip. Tip number 2, do not stay in survival mode. You do not want to live there. Like, I know it kicks in, okay, X, Y, and Z has happened. I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. I have to figure this out. And that's fine, but do not live there, y'all. You do not want to live worrying and freaking out the entire time. What you need to do is make a plan and then trust in your plan and know that you can change it if you need to. But a lot of times, you're like, oh my goodness, what if that happens? What if my husband loses his job, right? Okay, what if that happens? What are the steps that you would need to do? And then you make a plan, and then your brain can then let that go because you solve the problem. And you haven't solved the problem as in, you figure out a magic way for it not to happen, but you have a plan of action for if and when it does happen, and you know what to do. Now, of course, you can always edit and adjust the plan, but you would be surprised how much relief it gives your brain to know that you have a plan. So, I mean, kids are driving you crazy. I don't know what to do with them. They're home all the time now. We've never had to do this. Okay. Make a plan. Or even if you don't even know all the answers and you can't figure them out quickly, make a plan of all the things you need to solve. Like, get the issues out of your brain. I even suggest writing it down on paper so that you can, visually see, you can get it out of your brain and you know what tasks you're addressing. And like I said, you would be surprised at the impact that can have, so that your brain is not sitting there solving it, dwelling on it, tossing it around over and over, going over all these thoughts about it. You've actually taken it out your brain, set it down, and been like, okay, I've got a plan, either how to fix this or a plan of all the things I need to address. And then, like I said, your brain can rest on that. And that's going to give you a lot more, really just mental space, a lot, and lets you kind of relax a little bit, worry just slightly less because it's been addressed in some form or fashion. And then, like I said, trust in your plan. Like, I don't want you to get to be a plan and like, well, what if it doesn't work? Like, no, I've sorted it out. I know what decisions that I'm making in the future if X, Y, and Z happens. And then kind of trust in that, and trust in the fact that if you need to change it, you can. But let it rest. Okay, so the best way I could say it is let it rest, knowing that you've got a plan, You know what you're going to do. The decisions have been made. And so now we can just set that aside, and I can kind of focus on things that, hey, let me go pick my, like I said, number one, let me go find something to make me feel good today now that I know what's going to happen. All right, number 3 is to reach out to people. Reach out to people. I know we are all physically isolated, but, in this day and age with social media, you could be talking to any and everybody at the drop of a hat. So I highly, highly encourage you to reach out to people. If you're struggling, if you're stressed, if you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to your friends, your family. Isolation leaves us buried in our worst thoughts. It lets all of the negative thoughts, all the worry, all the stress, it just lets it breed, it lets it multiply, it lets it grow. And especially when it stays stuck in your head, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until, you just feel like you can't even control it anymore. So I really want you to kind of think about reaching out to somebody and talking to somebody. You don't even have to talk about the things that are stressing you out. I mean, I really think you should. But even just talking to somebody and kind of getting a new perspective, kind of remembering what else is going on in the world can really kind of help lessen how big everything feels a little bit. I mean, just talking to a friend of mine about, oh my goodness, how, I don't know, crazy our kids are being, kind of really was like, that's right. There's a whole other world outside of all of this stress. And that's a good feeling, and that can really kind of help when you're struggling. And then my very last tip, number 4, is that we all need to know what's going on right now. We need to know what's happening now. Don't get sucked in. But, some of us really feel better when we know what's going on. And so if that's for you, if you, feel like you need the information, please, please, please go to reliable sources. Go to the CDC website, go to the World Health Organization website. Do not let social media be your sole source of information and all this stuff. Because, in situations like this, what do people do best? They panic and they freak out, and their fear, totally blows things out of proportions. I'll give you an example. My husband was at the grocery store the other day, and their credit card machines are not working, and no, they can't do payments, so they had to do cash only. Now, I don't know if y'all happen, but this happens sometimes at stores. Sometimes their credit machines go down, right? And nobody freaks out, but because all the stuff going on, they're putting up signs that say banks are down, cash only. So if somebody shows up to that door, banks are down. Oh my God, banks are down. Now the banks are crashing. Da, 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 da. You can easily see how somebody would go down that route. My husband goes to another grocery store. Their banks are working fine. Their credit card machines are working fine. He runs to an ATM. It's working fine. The banks are not down, but this one store has this one experience, and they think the whole world's falling apart because there's so much fear and anxiety running rampant. Social media, and websites are no different. Somebody has one experience that in a normal situation they would come up with a more logical explanation for it. Right now they're like, oh my God, the world's ending, the banks are down, da, da, da. No, that's not the case. Things have changed. Things are definitely getting serious, and big changes are being made, yes, but you want reliable, accurate information so that you can make logical, smart choices right now, not making your choices off of somebody else's fear and panic over their specific situation. Does that make sense? So I really, really highly encourage y'all to make sure that you are getting your information from knowledgeable, reliable sources, okay? So I hope that helps y'all. I know it's a lot going on. We're dealing with, the word keeps coming out, but I'll just say unprecedented events. Nobody really knows how to deal with this. Nobody knows what this looks like. We don't really have a plan of action. No expectations. So it's a lot, and I know it's a lot, but I also know that it is eventually going to end. And so I want to kind of leave you with this kind of last thought, is knowing that this is going to blow over, knowing that this is going to get better, and some sort of normal life is going to come back to us. I kind of want you to think like, how do you want to feel when it's over? Do you want to feel like you lost your mind, you're stressed out, you're so mentally beat down by the end of this that you're just done for? Or, do you want to be like, okay, I made smart choices, I kept my head about me, I took care of myself and my family physically, mentally as best I could in that situation, and now that it's over, I'm ready to get back to normal life. The second one sounds a whole lot better. Yeah. Okay. That's my plan too, y'all. So, I hope y'all have a good day and a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.